But that's not what I was doing. I was just being naive and stupid and asking, but it wasn't received well. What Oprah was offering me at the time, I didn't think I was worthy of. So I had to blow it up, and I did. So when I went to her and said, this is what I'd like to do, I said, because other people were coming to me and asking me this, I hadn't even thought about it.
Iyanla Vanzant rose to prominence during her time on Oprah Winfrey's show, where her star shone brightly.
How could you not know that you're saying those words to me?
Because I did lecture, workshop, class, public speak, don't know dit nor doodly about television.
However, true to Oprah's nature, she chose to dim that star. Real sound clip. But that's not even the most troubling aspect. You see, Oprah proceeded to flip the narrative against Iyanla, portraying her as the antagonist.
What happened? I was on Oprah's show, on the Oprah Winfrey show, doing Change Your Life TV. And then people saw me, and other networks came after me.
Like you trying to protect your deal over here and force her into a deal.
Yes!
What exactly transpired, and why did Oprah treat Iyanla so unfairly? Oprah Winfrey's journey to becoming one of the most successful people globally has captivated many, from her early days as a presenter to her current status. Even if you haven't closely followed her story, chances are you've come across it somewhere. And if you're not familiar with Oprah, you might still have heard about Iyanla Vanzant, either through the news or Oprah's narrative. Understanding Iyanla's rise is intertwined with her connection to Oprah. She was there alongside Oprah before her show became a sensation. One might expect someone so pivotal to Oprah's success to receive special consideration during challenging times, but that wasn't the case. Just as rumors suggest that Oprah's support for Black women may be superficial, Iyanla's experience seems to confirm it. Despite being a best-selling author, she had to start afresh after Oprah felt threatened by her success. It's widely known that Oprah doesn't take well to challenges, and Iyanla became an example of what happens when you do.
It took 11 years.
Did she tell you that you weren't ready or something, like when you went to her?
They didn't think I was ready, but that was never communicated to me.
Got you.
So I'm saying, well, if they're asking for me, how come I can't do it over here?
The repercussions for Iyanla were significant. Losing her place on Oprah's show was just the beginning. It had a profound impact on her finances, career opportunities, and occurred during a period of personal hardship. While there's no direct evidence linking Oprah to these events, it's hard to overlook that Iyanla's downfall coincided with their rift. So can Oprah truly claim innocence in this situation?
It took 11 years.
Did she tell you that you weren't ready or something, like when you went to her?
They didn't think I was ready, but that was never communicated to me.
Got you.
So I'm saying, well, if they're asking for me, how come I can't do it over here?
The show has undoubtedly acted as a launching pad for numerous successful figures in today's entertainment industry. Names like Nate Berkus, Dr. Phil, and Dr. Oz serve as examples of this trend. They all rose to global fame after their appearances on Winfrey's show. Known as the Oprah effect, this phenomenon has wielded significant influence time and again. Whether through endorsements, frequent appearances, or having a regular segment on Winfrey's show, it has the potential to pave the way for a thriving career. However, while it propelled some to stardom and came close to doing so for others, it also led to downfall for many among them. Iyanla Vanzant.
I mean, you're someone who had a difficult life, you ended up on welfare trying to raise a family, and then all of a sudden all these opportunities just hit you. And any other person probably would have just spent that money up and been disrespectful. And
Iyanla's life story unfolds like a compelling miniseries. She was born Rhonda Harris in the back of a Brooklyn taxicab, and tragedy struck early with her mother's passing from cancer when she was just 2 years old. Raised by her absent father, who was involved in illegal gambling, and a grandmother who subjected her to severe abuse, her childhood was marked by unimaginable hardship. During her teenage years, she became a mother herself, giving birth to 3 children with different fathers. Her marriage to one of them only escalated into further violence, pushing her to the brink of attempting suicide all before turning 25. Struggling on welfare with limited resources and the responsibility of her children's futures weighing heavily on her shoulders, a pivotal moment occurred when she noticed a sign on a bus encouraging those seeking a better life to attend Medgar Evers College. Taking a leap of faith, she disembarked and enrolled, setting herself on a path toward the entertainment industry. Iyanla's journey eventually led her to become the executive producer and host of the acclaimed reality series Iyanla Fix My Life, which became a standout hit on the own Oprah Winfrey Network. In the show, she delves deeply into people's lives, applying spiritual principles to guide them toward inner peace and healing through self-reflection and personal growth. Winfrey herself has praised Iyanla as the most powerful spiritual healer, fixer, teacher on the planet. Despite their shared success, their relationship wasn't always smooth sailing. In fact, a disagreement between them lasted for over a decade, highlighting the complexity of their dynamic.
How could you not know that you're saying those words to me?
Because I did lecture, workshop, class, public speak, don't know dit nor doodly about television.
One of the most notable chapters in Vanzant's life was her rift with Winfrey. She was a rising motivational speaker gaining national recognition in 2000 when she started making regular appearances on Winfrey's show. However, in 1999, Iyanla received an offer from a television executive at another network and decided to accept it. This decision led to an 11-year period of no communication between Winfrey and Iyanla, but there's more to the story. The crucial point is that immediately after being approached by executives offering her a show of her own, Iyanla consulted with her team within Winfrey's organization. When they declined her request, she departed, leading to a series of events. In her own words, we had a conversation, and initially it was about whether I wanted my own show right away or was willing to wait, and I chose to wait. However, after receiving offers from multiple producers, I realized there might be an opportunity worth exploring. So, I returned to Harpo and asked, "Are you ready to do my show now?"
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
Years later, the two hosts finally had a conversation and came to realize that their estrangement may have stemmed from miscommunication. Reflecting on the situation, Iyanla remarked, "I know I initially said I would wait, but let me explain why. This is where I went wrong. I went into a lengthy explanation about how I had been approached by others, and I felt ready now, and so on, to not realizing the subtleties in the industry. They interpreted that as me trying to negotiate a deal, which offended them and led to the invitation for me not to return."
I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%.
After more than a decade of silence, Winfrey reached out to Iyanla to appear on her show and address their differences. However, this approach was problematic because everything unfolded behind closed doors. Shouldn't it have been resolved in the same manner? Yet, the more famous of the two had different intentions. She invited Iyanla onto her show and steered the conversation in a way that forced Iyanla to repeatedly admit her mistakes. During the show, Iyanla shared that she learned valuable lessons from her time with another network. "It was a profound experience for me," she said. "I was deeply hurt and felt guilty about how I left here. Hurt because I didn't fully understand my actions, and guilty because my narrative is that I always mess things up." This insecurity led Iyanla to make assumptions that allegedly exacerbated the situation. "When you said, 'bless you, move forward,' that's not what I heard," Iyanla explained to Winfrey. "I interpreted it as, you made a mistake and now you're facing consequences."
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What did you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big.
On top of that show, she had to acknowledge her mistakes on other significant platforms as well. "I violated some protocols in the industry because I just didn't know Vanzant, who says she grew up in the hood," told The Breakfast Club. "I didn't have a manager, I didn't have an agent. I was going up to talk to people like they was at the Key Food. And so, not understanding that about me and being in this industry, it was assumed that I was leveraging, which I wasn't. I didn't even know what that stuff was. I just asked for what I wanted. I was just being naive and stupid and asking. But it wasn't received well," Vanzant explained. And that created a breakdown in communication. "But we were able to repair that. It took 11 years. They didn't think I was ready, but that was never communicated to me. So I'm saying, well, if they asking for me, why can't we do it here?" There are indications that she might have been pressured to present a narrative that portrayed Winfrey in a positive light, as she had previously shared a different perspective in an earlier interview. During an episode of the Tell Me More show hosted by Michelle Martin, Iyanla stated, "Well, here's what I think. I think that as an up-and-coming, as a protege, a certain level of loyalty is required of you, expected of you, and I didn't demonstrate that level of loyalty. And I think that would be true for O. I think, had I stayed, it would have been true for Barbara Walters. I mean, look at the big rift that happened when Star left The View." This suggests that Winfrey's readiness to part ways stemmed from her expectation of loyalty from Iyanla, even if it hindered Iyanla's career advancement. However, what solidified this insight in the interview was when Iyanla disclosed that she hadn't even had a single conversation with Winfrey during those events. She said, "Well, let me say this. And this is why, what you heard in the clip when I said I didn't know it was about me. I never had a conversation with O, ever. People thought that we were best friends and we went to lunch all the time. I had never had a conversation with her. So, all of this that translated happened between me and her lawyer, me and her EP, not between me and O." Do you see the stark contrast between Iyanla's narrative on her own platform and what she expressed on Winfrey's show? Many fans have observed this discrepancy and have been vocal about it. One user expressed their perspective, stating, "And? Whose fault is that? O is a buck-dancing coon that decided to do what she did. Look at all the folks she put on. Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, Rachel Ray, Susie Orman, Nate Berkus, etc. What's the common denominator? Iyanla Vanzant is the only black person that she put on ... barely." That user makes a valid argument because among the many individuals she has supported, Iyanla appears to be the only one who struggled to move on from the show. Fans are now suggesting that this is because Iyanla is a strong black woman, which some netizens believe poses a threat to Winfrey. There is some validity to this perspective, especially given more recent instances of Winfrey allegedly undermining black actresses, including Toni Braxton. Toni Braxton, once a highly acclaimed songwriter in the industry, experienced a significant decline in her career, marked by financial difficulties and serious illness. Speculation has arisen regarding a potential link between her setbacks and Oprah Winfrey. However, questions remain about the nature of their connection. Real sound clip. Toni Braxton made her mark on the music scene in the late 80s, captivating fans with her exceptional vocal talent and timeless songs. In addition to her lasting success in the music industry, Toni is also recognized for her participation in Braxton Family Values, a well-received reality TV show on WeTV featuring her sisters and mother. Despite rightfully earning the status of a Grammy Award-winning R&B legend, Toni has encountered various challenges throughout her career, with one of the most difficult moments being her bankruptcy filing.
I was just being naive and stupid and asking, but it wasn't received well.
Right.
During a revealing interview on VH1's Behind the Music, Toni openly discussed the bankruptcy situation and its reception by the public and fellow celebrities. Around the same time, when she was dealing with financial challenges, Toni made an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Like most guests on Oprah's show, she expected questions about her then-recent situation. However, Toni was surprised by Oprah's unexpectedly rigorous line of questioning, which left her astonished.
She says to me, "I hear you have Gucci flatware." I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
During this interview, viewers interpreted Oprah's questions as indirect criticism of Toni's spending habits, suggesting that Toni's lavish expenses played a significant role in her bankruptcy. Responding to what she perceived as Oprah's rudeness, Toni remarked, "She was so harsh to me. I was completely surprised." Toni openly expressed her deep admiration and fondness for Oprah before the interview, stating that she had never expected Oprah to be as critical as she turned out to be during their conversation. She explained, "I couldn't believe it because I admired her so much. I looked up to her and she basically scolded me." According to Toni's recollection, Oprah's disapproval didn't end there. Toni recalled Oprah making a comment along the lines of, "I've heard you have Gucci flatware while I, Oprah Winfrey, do not own Gucci flatware." This remark left the star of Braxton Family Values feeling greatly diminished.
You were not coming into that meeting to get us to make a decision for doing a show for you? Yes, but not with that connotation of do it now or I'm going here.
While Oprah may harbor some envy or resentment towards beautiful and talented women like Toni, she didn't spare men her critical side either. It's important to note what Oprah did regarding Michael Jackson and his family back in 1993. Michael granted Oprah permission to visit Neverland for an exclusive interview, which significantly boosted Oprah's global reputation beyond the US. However, following Michael's passing, Oprah capitalized on the buzz surrounding the controversial HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland, and began to tarnish MJ's reputation. She conducted a whole special with Michael's accusers, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, despite both men having previously sworn under oath that Michael never harmed them. As a result, Mo Ahique publicly criticized Oprah, accusing her of damaging MJ's legacy.
was in the industry, when you go to somebody and say, this network is offering me this, what are you going to offer me? But that's not what I was doing. I was just being naive and stupid and asking.
After facing criticism for that special, Oprah justified herself by stating that she aimed to highlight the tactics of sexual assault offenders and shed light on a broader issue within the entertainment industry. Subsequently, in 2012, Oprah utilized one of Jackson's grieving children for her own benefit. She aired a tell-all interview with Jackson's daughter Paris on the OWN network while claiming it was to support the young star's growing career. However, Jackson's supporters promptly criticized her actions. In fact, they penned a letter to her, which included the following excerpt. "We can't help but notice the irony of the current situation. The man you spent the better part of the last decade bashing and stopping short of labeling a child M is the very man's name and progeny you are now using to salvage your sinking network. No doubt, at the top of OWN TV's rescue list would be a repeat of history. Remember in 1993, your Oprah show experienced record ratings. Over 100 million viewers tuned in to watch you interview the world's biggest superstar, the king of pop, Michael Jackson. While you were a somewhat hot commodity in the United States then, Michael Jackson introduced you to an international audience. When a few years later, Mr. Jackson had allegations leveled against him, we all watched in dismay. You turned on him, appointed yourself judge and jury, deciding even before evidence was presented in court that he must be guilty of the charges." The letter concluded by saying, "Having crowned yourself a child defender, we find it distasteful, disgraceful, and hypocritical that you are now using grieving children whose father you tried to sway a jury to send behind bars when it suits you. Few in the media have called out your shameful exploitation and hypocrisy, but we applaud the few who did. Those who remember." In an intriguing twist, fans began to question why Oprah, amid the controversy surrounding Michael Jackson's legacy, chose to remain silent regarding her friend Harvey Weinstein's victims. Despite the public outcry, she didn't address Weinstein's predatory behavior. Fans noticed this double standard and wondered why Oprah didn't show the same support for the women who came forward against Weinstein. In response to this, Mo Ahique took to social media to criticize Oprah Winfrey through a detailed open letter. She accused Oprah of treating individuals accused of similar crimes, particularly sexual assault, differently based on their race. Her letter stated, "Dear Oprah, I felt compelled to write you this open letter after observing the disparity in the way that you seem to treat people who were accused of the same allegations. You did an interview on the CBS Morning Show and were asked about Harvey Weinstein by Nora O'Neill, and you said, as it pertained to him, that you always try to look at the rainbow in the clouds, whatever is the silver lining. You also said if we make this all about Harvey Weinstein, then we have lost the moment." She further highlighted that while Oprah Winfrey seemed to avoid addressing allegations against Harvey Weinstein, she hosted an HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland, featuring two men accusing Michael Jackson of sexually assaulting them when they were boys. Mo Ahique also noted that Winfrey signed on to executive produce a documentary involving approximately 20 women who accused the music mogul of sexual assault. Michael Jackson's family also criticized Oprah, expressing their disappointment that she sided with his accusers and labeling her interview with them as the ultimate betrayal. During an interview on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, Taj and Brandy Jackson, Michael's nephew and niece, reiterated their belief in their uncle's innocence regarding the sexual assault claims raised in HBO's Leaving Neverland documentary, which they described as one-sided propaganda. Brandy Jackson expressed disappointment with Oprah's interview following the 4-hour documentary, stating, "It was a really disappointing situation in terms of journalism. She really let us down with that." Taj added, "For me, I've seen it happen before. I was there when she was requesting an interview with my grandma and Michael's kids, talking about Michael was misunderstood after Michael's death. She does what she needs to do to get ratings. To me, it's an ultimate betrayal." Moving on, Mo Ahique's perspective on this issue stemmed from personal experiences, particularly the setback she faced in her career after her interactions with Oprah. To provide context, in 2009, Mo Ahique received significant acclaim for her outstanding performance in Precious, a film directed by Lee Daniels and produced by Oprah and Tyler Perry. However, after fulfilling all her contractual obligations and anticipating some quality time with her family, Oprah and Tyler insisted that she travel overseas to promote the movie without compensation. Politely declining, Mo Ahique explained that she had already met the terms outlined in her Lionsgate contract. Despite her explanation, Lee Daniels reportedly issued a warning, foreseeing negative consequences for her. Unfortunately, his prediction proved accurate. The media soon portrayed Mo Ahique as challenging and difficult on set. It was during this period that Mo Ahique gained insight into the true nature of the individuals she was dealing with.
I got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now, I said no to some very powerful people. What Tyler Perry showed me, Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate. When you don't do what we ask you to do, we'll take your livelihood.
Adding to the turmoil, Oprah took a controversial turn by seemingly exploiting Mo Ahique's trauma for ratings. Mo Ahique had previously shared her painful experience of being sexually assaulted by her brother Gerald and how her parents didn't believe her when she spoke out. In 2010, Oprah devised a plan to invite Gerald on her show, even considering involving Mo Ahique. However, Mo Ahique declined, expressing her lack of interest in participating in that episode, although she had no objections if her brother took part. To Mo Ahique's surprise, when the episode aired, Oprah not only featured Gerald but also their parents, the same parents who had dismissed Mo Ahique's traumatic experience. This revelation deeply affected Mo Ahique, prompting her to reach out to Oprah to address the situation. However, Oprah remained silent. They eventually met at a Hollywood event, where Oprah tried to downplay the situation by claiming she didn't know Gerald would bring their parents. Skeptical, Mo Ahique didn't believe Oprah's explanation and suspected she was being deceived. Despite the drama and controversies surrounding her, Oprah managed to enhance her public image, receiving awards and recognition for her philanthropic work. In 2013, she was honored with the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Obama, demonstrating her resilience amidst the scandals and debates. That's all for this video. Goodbye.